Hey guys, some gamer dude here. So I've been waiting on Silver Thorns for a while now. I wanted to get a full grasp of the claim before we talk about the mistress over there. I quite liked her original deck back in the Limit Break era. It was my favourite along with Maelstrom. It was my second go-to deck of the era. So I'm kind of really happy Luquier finally makes a return. But as I said, I wanted to see all or what I believe to be all of Silverthorn before I talked about the sub-clan as a whole. So we'll start with grade 1 and work our way up to the mistress, starting with Silverthorn assistant Irina. She's got the standard stats, nice art, and to effect. Automatic regard circle when placed from hand, so you can't chase it out of the soul. Look at the top two cards of your deck, choose one among them to put into your soul. Doesn't have to be a Silverthorn, which is interesting for other Pale Moon builds. And put the other one on the bottom of your deck. Selective Soul Charge has always been good, so she's quality there. But she gets better. She's a modular card. Automatic when rode upon, look at the top three cards of your deck, put any number of Silverthorn among them into your soul. Put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. If you put two or more cards into your soul, draw a card. That has about a 76% chance of happening, so you are getting a +1 76% of the time, provided your entire deck is Silverthorns bar triggers. Because, actually, no, we're getting two triggers, maybe for Pale Moon this set, so we might get two triggers we can Soul Charge, so it'll be more than 76% chance. It'll be basically every game at that point, which means Arena is really, really good. Now, spoilers for Silverthorn, you actually, I'm not sure how much soul you actually need in this deck offhand, because certain things chuck your rearguards into the soul that you'd want to use, and other cards need four differently named Silverthorn in the soul. So you only, because of the way writing works, you only really need one, maybe two, depending on how fast you're going with the deck, additional Silverthorns that aren't what you ride into the soul. So there's that to be considered. But it's a good card. I really like it. Next up, we have Silverthorn Breathing Dragon, who's come a long way from just a, I think it was a Bedivere clone. Well, that's what we used to call them back in the day. Although it wasn't, was it really a Bedivere clone? Yeah, it was. No, that was more of a boss thing. The Bedivere, but this was an archetype one, but it runs on the same thoughts. It's plus 3,000 when it attacks if you have the boss of that archetype or naming convention. So it's your standard stats for an Excel grade 1, well, all grade 1s. Automatic regard circle at the end of a battle is boosted if your soul has four or more cards of Silverthorn in their different names, so four different Silverthorns. Again, this is where we get to that thing about the soul needing four different Silverthorns at all times. Counterblast 1, put a card with Silverthorn in its name that this unit boosted into your soul and call a card with Silverthorn in its card name to your regard from the soul. So this is actually a really good card. The problem is you don't really want to use it until final turn or your final turn, I'm being cheesy. You're pushing for game. Simply because the boss of the deck requires Counterblast 2, and there's a lot of cheesy things it does with the other grade 3 in the deck, which are really neat, and just continuously set off burst turns and protect your rearguards. There's really cool stuff that can be had with the grade 3s that start to eat up Counterblast two at a time. So this requiring even one Counterblast means you have to be really selective on when you use it. There's actually another card in the deck that uses one Counterblast, and again, selective. You're going to have to choose one or the other unless you can heal or Pale Moon gets a reliable and hopefully Silverthorn named countercharger. That's just the way it is. So, next up we have Silverthorn Conjurer Romy. She is a new card, completely. Standard stats for an Excel grade 1. Well, all grade 1. I kept saying Excel grade 1 because I'm used to saying Excel grade 3 or Force grade 3, etc. Anyway, Act, Regard, Rester, and put it into Soul. Look at the top 3 for any Silverthorn. Put them into your Soul. The rest go on the bottom in any order. Honestly, I kind of think this card's pretty mediocre. I get the intention of it to fill your soul consistently because there's cards such as Luquier herself that can pull a Romy here out of the soul. It's just that that late in the game, your soul should already have what you need in it. Again, you only really need Irina and your rear guards due to how other things function in the deck. You shouldn't need to soul charge like this. The only reason you do this is honestly because you got nuked and you need to recover from it. And because of the way the deck's functioning, if you got nuked, you're probably doing it wrong or the game went too long, to be honest. So, if Silverthorn's got another grade 1, she'd probably be going. Next up, we have Silverthorn Beast Tamer Shader. I think it's a woman. Subpar stats for a grade 2 at 8,000 power. Effect automatic Guardian Circle. When placed, put it into your soul. If your soul has 4 or more cards with different Silverthorn names, so 4 or more different Silverthorns, the wording I really wish was 4 or more different Silverthorns, one of your units gains plus 15,000 for that battle, or in other words, it becomes a 15,000 shield. Now, you could kind of want anything over this. It's not exactly a bad card, and it does help you get into the soul. If you had to ride anything else for grade 2, uh, probably want to ride anything else because it's, again, 8,000 power, same as a grade 1. But you can kind of force it in because when you pay the cost, you've already put a card into your soul. You have grade 0, grade 1, and now this. Irina's probably put in the other one. Oh, hey, you have your 4 Silver Thorns. It's a 15,000 shield. And with other cards, it can come out. So it's got interceptability, but honestly, other than filling up the soul easily, it's kind of iffy. It doesn't have immense power up problems because of other cards in the deck, but it's just how to put this. This and another card, if there were other Silverthorn choices, uh, because the deck really wants Silverthorn for other reasons. I probably wouldn't run it, to be honest. Uh, it's something that'd be replaced quickly. Speaking of being replaced quickly, Silverthorn Rising Dragon. Standard stats for an Excel Grade 2. And it's actually got a decent effect. Continuous Regard Circle. If you call 2 or more cards from your soul this turn, so it doesn't require Silverthorn, it gains plus 10,000 power. 19,000 static as soon as you've called 2 Regards from the soul that turn. Sounds good. Here's the thing. There's another card in the deck that just has a static plus 10,000 power if you have 4 different Silverthorns in your soul. So and it's got an additional effect on top of this. So it's inherently better. That's kind of the problem. This card is superannuated in the very set it comes out. It's basically filler now to have a full Silverthorn deck to make Irina's ride effect reliable. And even then, if well, also Luquier fully functioning. Um, yeah, as soon as Silverthorn gets more support later on, because we'll probably get 1 or 2 cards here and there later on to just say, hey, here's a bone. This could go pretty quickly. Although I think Shadow would probably go first. And here's the card I was talking about, Lillian, who is no longer vanilla and has much worse art. I really prefer the original art. The original art was really cool. She has standard stats for an Excel Grade 2. She's a triple rare, so she's got up in the world and has 2 effects. Automatic, Vanguard, and Regard when placed from hand, counterblast 1. To search your deck for a Silverthorn and place it into your soul, shuffle your deck afterwards. Counterblast 1 in a deck again where we want to use Counterblast 2 on the Vanguard and may use twice per game. Um, yeah, no. She's got to use this if you really need Luquier in the soul quickly because you're not soul charging it any other way. You didn't hit it with Irina. But other than that, it's just kind of. You wouldn't counterblast for it. Her automatic regard effect is when it attacks a Vanguard, if your soul has 4 or more cards with Silverthorn in the name that have different names, she gains plus 10,000 power to end the battle. Again, inherently superior and superannuates Rising Dragon, we just talked about a second ago. Rising Dragon just really doesn't have a place in the deck as soon as something better comes out because Lillian's here. Lillian's much easier to set up and set off. chances are turn 1, if you rode Arena, she's set off anyway. You have all the criteria. You got 2 into the soul, you have 2 as soon as you ride grade 2. Okay, you got 19,000 on grade 2. Which Excel kind of wants for beatdown purposes. So Lillian's really, really good in that respect. It's just that counterblast 1 effect, yeah. Uh, I'd have to see how the deck goes and manages counterblast in real life and see if they get a countercharger that's worth using in Silverthorns, and if the extra front and critical they get are Silverthorn. You see where I'm going with this. We need more Silverthorn to have less Silverthorn in the deck to manage our Silverthorns. So, next up is Silverthorn Acrobat Leonor, or Lenore, I'm not sure how it's meant to be pronounced. Ryanoru for the Japanese. Standard stats grade 2 and automatic regard circle when placed if your soul has 1 or more. Soul blast all of the cards and she gets plus 15,000 till the turn. This is more for the normal Pale Moon for V, not for what we're going for here with the Silverthorns. She will not be used. She's got nice art though. She's got that going for her. Next up, we have our first grade 3, Silverthorn Beast Tamer Doreen. Or Dorian. Not sure how it's pronounced. I think it might be Dorian. Anyway, she's a standard stats Excel grade 3 with a gift and with 1 effect. Automatic, Regard, and Vanguard. At the end of turn, put all of your other Regards into the soul, so not her, and draw a card for each 2 cards you put into your soul for the cost. If you put 4 or more cards, you may return a grade 3 with Silverthorn, its card name from your soul to your hand, and retire this unit on Regard. Now, the interesting thing is with this on Vanguard is, if you rode her first up, you get your gift, and you get Luquier somehow into the soul, probably Lillian, or if you didn't use Irina to successfully get her in there. You got that Excel circle, you fill up all 6 of your Regard circles, you can get a plus 3 of the effect from putting all your Regards into the soul. They can't get hurt there, but not only that, because you put that grade 3 from your soul into your hand, it's a plus 4, which is really neat. And then when Luquier is set off, and we'll talk about her in a second, you can bring this girl out, get that other Excel circle, fill up all your field again. She comes out, puts all your other Regard into your soul again so they hide, kills herself, probably gets you any Dorains you had to call to Regard to soul, or any extra Luquiers that are in the soul, and starts really playing with things to make really cool things happen. She just kind of cycles herself turn after turn. If you can get her and just multiple copies of her each turn, you can just start cycling them as long as you ride her first, then ride Luquier and have a second Luquier into the soul. It's cool like that. So let's actually talk about Luquier. Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Luquier standard stats for an Excel gifted grade 3. Honestly, inferior art to both the original and the Stride bonus one. Just gonna say it, I prefer the original art. This one's a bit too submissive. The original one had a tinge of cruelty to them. And it's got 2 effects, automatic, Regard, and Vanguard. Same effect as Rising Dragon, which is actually better here because of the interaction with Doreen. And again, because you have this and the way the deck's working, pulling it in and out of the soul each turn, you don't really need Rising Dragon. It's superfluous and it's superannuated in its own grade. It's weird like that. Act Vanguard Circle once per turn, counterblast to and discard a card. Call any number of Silverthorn cards from your soul to Regard, and all your front row gain plus 10,000 power until end of turn. Hey guys, some gamer dude here. Sorry to make a quick little addendum to this video, but I needed to interject it because of a couple of things. I was very tired when I made this video because my personal life scheduling has been a nightmare recently. Please accept my apology for that. First off, I misspoke. Luquier only gives the front row plus 3,000, not plus 10,000. Clearly, even I noticed that it was plus 3,000 despite saying 10, because otherwise I would have actually made a deal of it being plus 10,000 to the front row. Plus 3,000 is just the same as Maelstrom and doesn't. All it does is really course correct a couple of cards. It doesn't really get you up to next uh, power levels all that much. Second off, as far as Dorian goes, I completely neglected the fact you can and probably should call Luquier to rearguard and use Dorian to put it into the soul and then from there put it into your hand. I don't know why I didn't see this. I blame my tiredness, but that is probably the more optimal way to do it, considering you do need to fill up the field ASAP to draw all those cards and start pulling things in and out of the soul with the Luquier you ride the following turn. So I'll just stop here and we'll get on with the video. As I said, this has really cool interactions with Doreen because you can just bring everything out, chuck them back in with Doreen, get the pluses, bring them out with Luquier, chuck them back in, get the pluses. You're not actually getting that negatives. The thing is, with the Counterblast 2, you can't actually let the game stretch out too long, so I kind of see why she, Lillian, and even Rising Dragon, as much as I bagged him, all gain this massive power bonus to try to end the game at least on this second turn. Because if you can't finish it on this second Luquier turn, which is your third grade 3 turn total, you're kind of boned anyway, because you just can't do anything at that point. You have no resources. The deck's gimmick's gone. You most as well just give up. There's nothing much you can do. You have to win by then. And that only gives you one extra counterblast to play with, which is, again, if things are going bad for you by the turn you have to ride or play Lillian, if you don't have Doreen in your hand and Luquier in the soul, you have to use it on Lillian. If everything's gone to plan, everything's gone exactly to plan, well, Breathing Dragon just gave you more winning power right there, didn't he? And that's pretty darn good in my books. So the deck can actually, like that first card we talked about, Arena, work in a modular way, which I quite like. It's got very specific ride patterns. It feels like a break ride deck in a way, but it's highly interactive. The cards, I think they could work a bit nicer together, like how the original Silverthorns, especially when Zelma came out, did. But this is an initial stuff. The original Silverthorns weren't exactly completely complex on their first outing either. But anyway, I like what I've seen of Silverthorn. The only thing I will note straight off is this is Eradicator's, well, not Eradicator's, that doesn't really exist anymore. This is basically Eden by Narukami Alive. Narukami has a lot of cards that rely on your opponent's front row being open. You're doing it for them because you're protecting your rearguards so they don't get killed. And you can set off all their enter abilities and effects that is set off when you bring multiple things out, etc., etc. You're doing all these cool things to protect and bring out your rearguards, all the while you're keeping your rearguard circles open on your top opponent's turn. Therefore, Narukami is just going, hey, you did my job for me. Yeah, you're getting +1, so you might be able to cope with what Narukami's doing itself, but yeah, that's kind of the thing. We'll just see how it plays out. I'm not sure how not getting negatives from Narukami would affect being able to cope with Narukami's raw power levels. It's probably fine, to be honest, but we'll see. I'm curious on the matchup when we get there. I am really, really curious. It'll be a sight to see when this set comes out in Japan. When is it due, anyway? It is due on August 10th, so 2 weeks away, roughly. So I'll leave it there. I'll probably keep an eye on tournament results, which I usually do not do. And I'll be interested to see how things pan out. I think the deck certainly looks much, much better than where Pale Moon was before. It's a massive upstep. It's like, well, everything released before is crap now, except maybe the Nightmare Dolls, they might have a chance at being something decent. They're trying to make them do something. It's just I haven't really seriously looked over them. Maybe we can look over them later. I've still got to get around to playing more with Maelstrom. So, yeah. I'm not actually. It's really hard to actually make that video because I haven't been enjoying the deck very much. But this deck looks like a lot of fun. It looks more consistent and cohesive. And yeah, so if you like Pale Moon, I don't think I'd recommend trying to go budget with this. The deck definitely revolves around Luquier. If you do not have the money for Luquier, I would not bother. But if you have the money for Luquier, it looks like a lot of fun. I would bother with it. So that's where I'm going to leave the video. Feel free to leave comments, and I'll see you guys next video. Thank you for watching.